Incidences of early marriage continue to dominate in most Zambian localities. In the rural locations, this continues to be an area of concern. Thank you so much for making time to watch this week's News In-Depth program. Today we'll be looking at early marriages, particularly in Nchelenge District. We'll be talking to some two young girls who were married off early but have been retrieved from their marriage settings and have now gone back to school. We'll also be talking to the traditional leadership in this district and also talking to World Vision Zambia, a non-government organization looking to deal with this problem in this area. Welcoming you to this week's News In Depth program. My name is Pennipher. She has lived to experience what others merely read or hear about. We choose to call her Kay. She is the mother to this 1 year 4 months old baby boy. At the age of 16, Kay fell pregnant and was forced to marry her 17-year-old boyfriend, who was responsible for her pregnancy. Kay's marriage was sanctioned by her 58-year-old mother, Agnes Mwila, on the basis that it would offer relief to the family, given the economic challenges they faced in the home.
Mubuchushi bwandi mwana ali upirwe ili upirwe aikala muchupo nabaikere no mulume nebona kimwene kwati nalimo abalansunga koine bantu mubuchushi nabaikere muchupo.
Agnes, who has no meaningful means of income, merely cultivates a few crops for consumption during the farming season. She looks after her family of 12, who include her mother in this house within Chapita village. Agnes regrets having sent her child into marriage at an early age.
Amafya yengi emo yali mukufya kwa bana. Obwafya ubumo bwakufya abana bwangu. Abana indi ngirine ngakwate efumo bambi balefwa bambi baleyona ikira munshire shingi sana emkwaye.
Kay's story is not an unusual development in her village located in Nchelenge District of Luapula Province, about 1,100 kilometers from the Zambian capital city, Lusaka. Head woman of Chapita village, Megan Mulumbwa, attests that this problem has persisted in the chiefdom for a long time.
Ichalele ngabana okufya takwali ukuyishiba ubukumu bwaba mu mwana omwana kashi okusambirira abantu kale baletifye kangufye ndilepo kabiri baleti kusambirisha omwana kashi takuli ikintu kanshi ena kamufyo okupwa nokulayika lafe panganda. Lelo shino nshita nomba natuiruka nokusambirisiwa sana bwino nokumona ifyo bana mayo bali afwe ekifyalo ifyo bana mayo bali afwa n'endupwa ifyo bana mayo bali bomba n'emirimu ekankala mu maofisi.
The gravity of this problem not only negatively affects Nchelenge but surrounding areas as well as other parts of Zambia and Africa at large. Recently, a large gathering of concerned African interest groups and individuals took part in a summit targeted at ending child marriages. A 2015 report entitled Profile of Child Marriage in Africa, issued by the United Nations, shows that 125 million women and girls are negatively affected on the continent. UNICEF notes the depth of concerns affecting children in Zambia and the continent.
Out of all the girls around between 18 to 24 years old, 31% of Zambian girls are married before the age of 18.
The Zambian First Lady Esther Lungu, who has ventured in community outreach projects targeting rural areas, has equally recognized early marriages as a predominant problem affecting the rural communities.
Most of the health centers that I visited, the so-called mothers in quotation marks were below the age, far below the age of 16. On average, 14. It's pathetic.
Sadly, for most of the affected girls and boys, their future is bleak. Kay's story has on the other hand taken a different twist, as she is privileged to have returned to school. Despite having the responsibility of raising her son, she is currently in grade 8 at Kambwali Primary School, which is located a few kilometers from her home. Here, she narrated to us the experience of being married at a young age.
In 17 years, in grade 8, I was going to be Agnes Muira. In fact, I was 16 years, and I was going
Kambwali Primary School has provided an opportunity for Kay to revive her dreams of becoming a teacher, as she has realized the value of education. Kay is not the only one who has had a second chance at regaining composure from the hardships of early marriage. Within Kambwali Primary School, we talked to another girl who is 18 years old and is a mother to a 1 year 2 months old baby. She told us that she did not at all expect to fall pregnant and let alone get married, as she was just flirting around for fun.
How can I structure this? I need help.
School in grade 8, njikala pa Holland, abafya chitukala na bena nyibambuya. Ero nomba. Nje no mwana umo. Salengera okwata omwana umo. But njayishibe chapichire kwati nipya pya fya chitule angala fye. Shayishibe chikefi nombe no fya statistic. Nomba ejama nandi bashire kusere shako. Okay, into chati chikefyo. Mbali shire yabu fya chibayisamfuitira. Bayisantwala okwene kumwaume.
Although her stay in marriage was only for a few days, she just had as horrific an experience, as Kay affirmed.
China bakosere shako finga kuli abana abo bambyo baleyangala na bena limibale beba chiyo twende okutuchitebishani shani baleka na bena bapose fyamano ku school bantu fyali shupa kupitamu fyali shupa kuwe.
The school administration acknowledges that cases of children being married off early or those merely getting pregnant have been a challenge for a long time. Nonetheless, the encouraging news is that the numbers of such cases are steadily reducing.
We are trying to sensitize all the communities surrounding this school on the importance of child protection. Then we are also advocating for these issues concerning child abuse. The problem was rampant, but after the introduction of this child protection in school by World Vision, it has decreased.
The incidences of child marriage have also raised some concerns for the Ministry of Education in the district, given the high school dropout rate. Nelia Spiri is in charge of open and distance learning in Nchelenge and Nchelenge districts.
There's a tremendous progress in terms of early marriages. The area from Mukumbwa, the area from the barrier to Kasumba. Now Nchelenge, the problem which is there is, one, there is this, what they call they always allow their boys and girls to take food in exchange for fish. In the process, the boys and girls are spoiled. Hence, at the early stage, at grade 6 or grade 7, you find them, others get pregnant, others leave school. Not only girls, but also boys.
The district administration, through the acting district commissioner, Gift Hajongola, has observed that not more than 40% of children enrolled in primary education have had the opportunity to reach grade 7.
Just in 1 year, just within 1 year, about 138 cases were reported. Cases actually came to police. Actually, 87 were reported. and 26 arrests have been done. If you look at your statistics, I was involved in a research just recently, you will find that those who have reached up to grade 7, at least grade 7, are no more than 40%. That interprets that 60% do not reach grade 7. Now, if that is the factor, that gives you a propensity to say, if people don't reach grade 7, what are they going to be doing?
The health risks that the young girls are exposed to once married is another area of distress. The district medical office has observed that many young girls are brought to medical facilities in their early teens.
Previously, if I can take you the way back, like 84, maybe to 2002, we had a lot of such experience in terms of child marriages. You'd find somebody as early as 13 years. I once witnessed in 2009 where one was pregnant and was 13 years and was brought at St. Paul's Hospital, and it was only through cesarean section that girl could deliver.
In order to preserve the young girls' lives, the recommended method of delivery is cesarean section.
These children, they are not yet fully developed. So when it comes to deliver, they will only deliver through cesarean section, which will leave a very big wound. And sometimes these small girls, they will even die through cesarean section, and they are not yet developed to withstand maybe that pressure of pregnancy.
The cause of child marriages in this part of Zambia appears to follow a certain pattern, with the high occurrence of poverty taking up the prominent justification.
As I'm talking to you now, Nchelenge, Luapula is rated among the, quite low in terms of economic status. In fact, when I look at my district in Nchelenge alone, it's about 80% poverty levels. Now, that tells everything, because that overrides all the issues of education, issues of looking at the future of these children. Because of the poverty levels, people have no access. The parents have no access to taking their children to education, even better shelter, just better living. The only option ends into marriage.
A Christian non-governmental organization, World Vision, operates in selected parts of Nchelenge District. World Vision has made its own observations on the factors contributing to the increased early marriage cases.
Culture is also coming up in trying to relate the current situation, the trend that is there, with what is believed to be the cultural norms. Children being left on their own, whereby parents relocate to some farm blocks. This one is also attached to neglect of children.
Given the diverse cultural practices in the various Zambian tribes, some provisions in certain norms have been cited for the high early marriage occurrences. For instance, here in this part of Zambia, female children are made to live alone once they are of age, as it is a taboo to live in the same hut as their father. This leads to the family building a separate hut where the girl child lives by herself and sometimes her siblings. This practice is of concern to head woman Chapita, who feels that it contributes to the immoral behavior the young girls engage in.
Tulabalekeleesha ukulala beeka mu mayanda ati ngalaala mu ngando omuli bawishina banyina ninshi yisiku kamonawona ikwatira itanda alelala yeka ate mwana ngu kwanakulu kulioko banakulu teti bamukite control nangu kuitanda kulioko alelala teti abeeka atampa nomba okita practice misango ya early marriages ila kiri muno.
Another cultural practice looks at the authorization of young children to be engaged for marriage whenever the approaching family desires to do so. For instance, even at an early age, the girl's family can be approached to consider their child for marriage by a man interested in marrying her. The marriage most often takes place at the soonest possible opportunity, as some girls have been engaged at the age of 9 and get to be married in their teens. Sub-Chief Kasumba of the Lunda-speaking people confirms that this practice has played a part in the marrying off of children at an early age here in Nchelenge District. For his chiefdom, this rule comes with regulation.
Olutambirwa bakuno kumweso umuntu nga asonga twarafye ubusonge ati naikatiro oyo ukulingana n'olutambi ninshi palia paba nombo mwana kashafwire okulatina umwaume teringi okulamonana.
Government too is aware of such practices.
What they do here is when a child reaches simply 9 years, and anyone from 9 years and above can be engaged, and the parents accept that.
Sub-Chief Kasumba also disclosed that the children in the village seem to have been spoiled by the films which contain illicit behavior which have become popular in the chiefdom.
Abana banono balesangwa ku mafyumu utamba amafyumu ayo baletambishamo bashitata bashani amangalo yali ayavipa balesangwa ku baletamba.
In most Zambian tribes, groups of women who offer a transitional preparation for girls coming of age and those deemed to be ready for marriage are a vital actor in this advent of early and child marriages. In this part of the country, these women are referred to as Banafimbusa. We spoke to the Tumfane Women's Club based here in Nchelenge District, which has been operating since 2006. Our immediate interest was to query them on whether or not there are traditional counseling components inside the young girls to practice what they learn.
Nokukufunda kwa pachisungu twali sera filiati mino ikatongo makatula beba fye direct kwebati ili okangala noma omyoka kwa teifumu elo inshiwe taula akula ukafyala shani omwana ni nani akamusunga muri ifyo kwena na tutampa okuwembesha konge fimbusa bamwe abana kwena baleti nako elo bambi fyabashire umfwa munganda muri nyina na wishinga tale umfwa na fimbusa fine balefirwa okuti batumfu.
These women, like the education, medical and traditional leadership, have had the opportunity of being trained by World Vision Zambia in dealing with the rising cases of early marriages.
Idio twabwerere kulia twasambirira batulundira pwamano fyo tulesungirira abana banono kukana upwa fyo balere kama school kwa bulo kuishiba fyo bale imitama fuma mafyasha kwa bulo kuishiba ukulunda pofe no mutitikisha wabashitata fyonse fyo twalisambirira oyi mwaka.
The belief that some young girls venture into marriage without their parents' permission is shared by Margaret Kabwewe, who we found in Chief Kambali's village.
Nangule mukadipira kwa titaule mukadipira. Nangule mweba kwa titaule mweba. Nomba ndaka hii. Habe nefi bute mwiko bwabo. Efo kupwa bwangu kuma skulu balireka.
In the same area, we spoke to some teenage girls who had various opinions on the subject of getting married early.
Titwalandapo bantu wa upo bwangu tawishi bechintu ichili chonse chole tontonkanya ero nishuli mwaiche kula boku kuya mkukuma mfyupo no kula kutukwanga tawafundwa iwo lichiperero uli mwala wambu afye no kula tukisha abafyashi so fwe baiteta tulingo kupo abanono
kuya bwangu kuchupo liwe tawula kwata mano owe mwaiche waya upo bwangu vina fyashi ngana bate mwamene bapoka bwangu indala macho pantu mwana nakula kulolela mbale omwana akula kwata amano nomba enga kuchupo tejuishi befya kusunga enganda tejuishi benefya kudia kuchimuleka sabana fyefya kudia.
Information was later given to us by some elderly women within the village that despite the young girls we spoke to appear to have condemned the practice of early marriage, they too have already been married off. While the focus has mainly been on the female children's predicament when they are married early, the boys too have their own experience. This is 20-year-old Gaius Mukuka from Sikainda village. At the age of 17, he impregnated his 16-year-old girlfriend from Sikainda village, which is 2 kilometers away. The girl's family forced him to marry the girl, hence he had no choice but to comply.
I was in love with a certain girl. Now the parents of the girl forced me to marry her whilst I was young. We stayed in marriage for 2 years. Being in marriage at a tender age, it's not good because you have no income to take care of your family and indeed looking after your wife. And at times you could even go to bed on an empty stomach because you have no capacity to look for food.
Like Kay, he has had the opportunity to advance in life as he has returned to school.
Whilst I was in marriage, I received my friends from the CPA club from Kambwari, the Child Protection Advocacy Club, who visited me and encouraged me to get back to school. As they were encouraging me to get back to school, I had to ask them one question, whether I would be apprehended by the police. And then my friends encouraged me to say, no, since you are still young, the police, they won't arrest you if you opt to go back to school and leave this marriage. So I also followed the advice from my friends. I went to the school where I met the matron, Mrs. Malisawa, who also encouraged me to get back to school. And then I also got support from the matron, Mrs. Malisawa. She helped me with some school requisites, such as paying for my school fees as well as the uniform. I continued staying in marriage with my wife whilst going to school. But I had to face some hardships, so I went back to my parents and tell them to say, Dad, Mom, I think I need to end this marriage. I need to concentrate on school. So my parents, they had to get what I was telling them. And they approached my in-laws, the parents to the girl, to say that our child wants to get back to school. So the parents to the girl I was married to agreed that I should go back to school as well. Then they had to ask us whether they should pay us back the dowry price, of which we also agreed that they should pay us dowry price.
Kambwali Primary School is seen to be instrumental in the reversal of marriages through the creation of a Child Protection Advocacy Club with the support of World Vision Zambia.
These children in the club, they relate or they talk, they interact with each other with those people or pupils who are in early marriages. So they share the information that we discuss in the club. In the areas where they find difficulties, they report these issues to us as teachers. And then we refer these issues to the Guidance and Counseling Office, which helps to counsel these pupils and to talk to the parents so that these issues of early marriages, they are well addressed.
The CPA club members who have been venturing in drama presentations and composition of songs to correct the mindset of people in surrounding communities desire to have more material and financial support for their outreach programs.
So we need things like drums, musical instruments. We need also things like, technology is advancing, things like computers, so that we print pictures. And we also produce magazines, because at some time back, some of these children, they were trained in media.
We had earlier established that cultural practices have contributed to high early marriage cases. Chief Kambwali's outright point is that tradition or cultural practices should not be given as an excuse to allow the marrying off of children.
Rutambi ruaka. Takwa waonso wa fiaro wa kwewa vati pantu rutambiuru kuya ofyomwa no munono takwa. Mwana kanu wafika pa mushinku wa kwewa tie kutia yao. Nombate mushinku yu wa kwewa tie otre vati umwana fuiria ya kusukuru. ino nshita natukwata nolo bakala mbali mbya bakwata pofiupo nabatampokola bwerera ku masukuru bamono kweba tibalishalire kunuma muri ilya nshita bale kuliramu ino nshita ekyo tulepakamisha tufure bonse twayikala twayishiwa uyu muntu asambilira akwatako n'emirimu ukana muchusha kandi tuferesa kuntanshefe tatureshiwa.
He further notes that the police have been engaged to deal with the problem in order to deal firmly with perpetrators of child marriage.
Mwane bakapokola tula bombeshanya fena bobwino pantu lyonsa maripoti kuli ifwe balasenda nokumona n'omwana nga twayikata n'olumwine uli omufyashinga twamwikata tulakumwana pamona bakapokola twalanshanya ati abana bapange imiradi kanshi mwifunde na ifwe twayiboko batepo obutekweko buti pali ichichilonganiro twapanga pantu ba polisi emo babo afuiri oyu mufyashi wa oyu mwana akakwe then umwana aye ku school.
The steps taken by Chief Kambwali are not too different from that which his counterpart, Sub-Chief Kasumba, within the district has also effected.
Na pano maya kusanga kutira ubu wafya bulesangwa muri kino kiputurwa twalikala panshi nokusala bana mayo abetu ati fimbusa ifya kutira firemo na bali bana mayo abale ufya abana bwangu na abantu bali ambo kubombo mulimo wa kuchingirira bana mayo kukana la ufya abana bwangu.
The traditional leaders are not working alone in dealing with this problem.
There is a great response that is coming from traditional leaders. They've bought in our ideas and we are really working with them. We are always in constant collaboration with our traditional leaders.
The significance of education is affirmed by the female child marriage survivors.
Pandi nona defo kusambirira elukanyina bakafundisha na bafyashi bali sabako bakoseresha kwa bafyashi kutine wombwere ku school. But vena wale mpumyati yo moni nkayi yabwera ku school shani uko bajina mwene nshafisa kamene na shwefyachi epo fere mwene defo kwisa ku school nemwe.
Faninga bakoseresha ko kufaya kuposa kwa mano ku school kushiro kuleka kwangara so ofaninga bakoseresha ko bebachi kuposa kwa mano ku school don't you kwangara.
Gaius also has a dream of acquiring a good job once he finishes school and still has plans of looking after his wife.
Currently, I'm in grade 10 and I want to finish school so that I can also have a decent job, so that I can get a good pay at the end of the day.
Kay's mother has also learned her lessons.
Kwa ndefo ayafya masambiriro asambirire ko nali mukuti nepfu aisansunga ko emkwaye.
For World Vision, gains recorded in dealing with the problem of early marriage will be sustained.
Yes, we are just going to concentrate on building capacity in community structures that we have. That is the only sustainable way we've seen to be very prudent. And then the other thing that we are doing at the moment as an organization, we are trying to put more of the IGA activities like opening up savings groups, those that are very vibrant, and also linking the survivors of early marriage to the same savings groups so that they can continue supporting themselves in the area of education.
For headwoman Chapita, her emphasis is on the need to change the perception towards the value of girls and women in society.
Elona kutina koselesa n'abafyashi fye bonse ili afyala omwana afuire kwishibo kutira nakabiri akamufyali omku wabubiri ukupwishe school uwapwishe school pakuti apwishe school ni shakula abamachuaji alingo kupwa.
The future of the young boys and girls at risk of being married and married off lies on the many people who assume leadership at various levels in society. The family and immediate relations have the direct responsibility. It is obvious that early and child marriages require a multi-sector approach to be dealt with, and particular focus needs to be placed on dealing with the cultural factors contributing to its perpetration. Here is where we conclude this week's News in Depth presentation, which has been looking at the subject of early marriage incidences in Nchelenge District, as well as looking at the interventions that are being put in place in this particular area. We've also been able to hear the story of two young girls who have had the opportunity of being taken back to school after being retrieved from marriage settings. Well, we urge you to join us next week for another interesting news documentary right here on News in Depth. My name is Pennipher. On behalf of my camera person, Biklan Zimba, it's goodbye and God bless you.